the beginning of this part 2 episode, I do start prepping for paint, and that also includes all of the little things, the pylons, gear doors, speed brakes, all the other little things on the outside of that airframe that needs the same paint color as everything else. So I start prepping that now in preparation for paint. And here you can see the painting process in full swing. I'm using Model Master paints for this, the 3-tone grays. Converted them using one of those online charts to figure out what FS numbers I needed. And I'm using the little blue tack worms you've seen me use in previous models to make sure I get a soft edge between the various colors. So I just work my way through, paint one color, tried to go lightest to darkest, and then use little worms, use the instructions, let it up, next section, and then you just keep cycling through section after section after section, one little area at a time until everything is complete. So here you can see I'm starting to prep the landing gear. I have to assemble the various components on each landing gear, get it ready to go for painting white. Now that the painting is complete on the airframe, the next step will be painting the landing gear door areas, the wheel well areas all white. So I have to get that ready, so I start that assembly. And then next after that, you'll see I start prepping the drop tanks and the rocket pods, and the boarding ladder also, because the rocket pods need to be painted white, as does the boarding ladder, in preparation to be painted yellow later on in the build. So I'm getting everything ready step by step, so when I paint the next color, which is white, everything that needs to be painted white I can paint at the same time. And once I get all of those little bits and pieces ready to go, as you saw, and everything's been seamed, cleaned, and sanded and prepped, now I'm going to start masking off those gear and speed brake areas on the actual airframe, which is the last step before I paint. I don't like leaving masking tape on the airframe for too long. I try to mask off, paint, and peel the masks as quickly as possible. Just it limits the chances of ruining the underlying paint. So yeah, I do it as quick as I can. The last thing I'm doing here, right before decals, I completely forgot I needed to paint the edges of the intakes black. So I'm masking off that and getting it painted right at the end here, and then you'll see I get into the process for decaling. So here we are at a point with this kit where I am pretty much ready to start decaling, which is kind of surprising and shocking, to be honest. But as with all other kits or other models, before I can decal, I have to gloss coat. I'm going to use my standard Future. This is just Future floor polish, or Pledge with Future, whatever they've called it. This is old. I've had this probably close to 20 years. They don't make it anymore. I will eventually be buying a replacement. A couple of companies I found that has something similar. I'm going to buy a couple, or buy one at least and give it a shot. I'll update on the channel when I get to there. But this is just this floor wax. You can brush it. You can airbrush it. I've never airbrushed it. I mostly just brush it on by hand. It self-levels. Doesn't leave any brush marks. It gives it a nice hard surface to decal on top, and it allows you to do a lot of weathering over top of it, and it doesn't really affect it. I've used oil washes, I've used water-based washes, and nothing really seems to hurt this floor polish. It's a nice hard system afterwards. So I'm just going to go ahead and brush paint this on, and then I'm going to slowly work my way through all the kits and get them done, get them ready for decals. And just a quick check in here as I'm plugging on through these decals. It does take quite a while to do them. I try not to decal too much at once. I've had very bad luck in the past where I try to do too many decals at once, and then I end up touching or smudging or just generally ruining the decal while it's still wet because I'm trying to apply another decal. So I've gotten in the habit of applying a decal, letting it dry, and then another one, and then another one. And sometimes I'll do multiples if they're all on, say, one side of the fuselage or all in one wing, so I don't have to pick up or manipulate the model in any way. But I find as soon as I need to, like, if I have to pick up the model or manipulate it, I'm gonna ruin something. So I try to take my time and space things out. It takes a while, but it makes the finished product significantly nicer than if you just rush through it. And here, once all the decals are complete, I go through a second time. I cover those decals with another layer of future. That makes sure that they are locked in. You don't want to have any issue where you go to do a weathering pattern or something and you end up ruining that decal. It's still a raw decal exposed to the environment. So I put another layer of future on top, and that just seals those down really, really nice. In the odd chance that you have any silvering that starts to happen, and you'll see it pretty quick when you're applying the decal. At this point, you can actually get the future in there, and it will, if you use a pin to poke holes. I do the same thing while I'm using the decal solution. I can poke holes in the decal to get the solution underneath and suck that decal down. But if there's any problems with that, at this point with the future is the same thing. I can score the decal with a knife or poke a hole with a pin and make sure when I brush and apply that future, it gets in and underneath that decal and just make sure it is perfectly bonded, and it greatly lessens the chance of having any silvering. So you'll see I go through and I brush. I don't do the entire model. I tend to only put it over top of where I had put decals, and you'll see me do that, and that's preparation for the next step, which is the black wash. And you'll see me start that pretty much immediately after I finish this. I just brush it on. It's just tempera paint mixed with water, and I use sometimes I sometimes forget, but I try to remember to add a drop of soap, usually hand soap, to the black wash, and it just allows the surface tension of the water to break. So when you apply it, it doesn't beat up into a little ball, especially on the gloss surface. It tends to want to just ball up. So if you use a bit of soap, breaks that surface tension. It allows the black wash to flow, and then you just paint it on, let it dry, and then you go through with a little cloth or Q-tip, and you just wipe all that off, and you end up with a really, really nice looking finish. And I have a video on my weathering techniques, tips and tricks. I'll put a link up above to that so you guys can jump over and see a more in-depth how-to if you want to learn how I do that. So here we are at a good point for a check-in on this kit. So as you can see, and if you've been following along, it is decaled, gloss coated, weathered, flat coated. I have since pulled the canopy off just because I wanted to get a look at it. So we're getting really, really close. So just off of like a quick look at this, I haven't gone through the instructions yet and verified kind of where things stand, but just a quick look at this. All I'm really missing, pulling the masks, canopy, pitot tube, gun barrels, some of the lights. There's some clear lights that go in the wings here. There's also the one here in the tail. I still have to pop out the decal and glue that clear piece in, and then the pylons are all basically completed. The air brakes, the pylons, they're here ready to go. I've just got the rest of this to do. The rocket pods are painted. I just have to weather these and they'll get mounted. But yeah, weather the rocket pods, paint up the drop tanks. I'll be doing them like a light gray, something similar to the lighter color gray in here. And then I can get the 3 drop tanks glued in place. Something like that. Drop tank here, drop tank there, the rocket pods on the wings. Get that all finalized up. The radar, the ladder still needs to be painted yellow, and then I'll get it glued onto the side of the fuselage, ready to go. So we're plugging along. Like I said, I still have to look through the instructions. So drop tanks, paint the drop tanks, weather everything. Get the pylons, the weapons, the gun barrels, the pitot tube, the canopy, the lights, a few little lights around here. I got to paint the tip of this refueling probe steel. And I think that's pretty much it for this kit. So we're on the home stretch. So let's keep going right along. I have a few other things I've been painting by hand, all the actuators for the speed brakes and stuff like that, stuff to be painted as well. So we're getting there. So on that note, let's just get right at it. I think I'm going to start with pulling the masking, and then I'll start gluing on some of the little tiny bits that still need to be put on, and we'll plug right along with this, and not too many more. I mean, considering the time lapse is sped up, a couple more minutes of the video, and that should be a completed model. So let's keep going. here you see I'm starting getting down to the nitty gritty of it. I've got the wheels are glued on, the pylons are glued on. I'm starting to apply those rocket pods, and then I got to glue the drop tanks on. I'm just touching up all those little bits and things that need to be glued on, but that you don't want to have broken off while you're painting and decaling and stuff like that. So I make my way through. I glue on a little bit at a time. All the little antennas got to be glued on, the pitot tube, all that stuff has to be glued on. Any paint touch-ups that need to be done can get done. All those final things are applied to make sure that the finished model, it looks like a finished model. And then I'm done. Last little thing I'll do is just the landing lights, the nav lights, I should say, the red and green nav lights on this thing. And then it's all finished and I can call it done. And there we have it, folks. This F5 is complete. Kinetic, you know, they're great kits. Fights you a little bit. You gotta have to take that time to make sure it looks great, especially when it comes to over seams. I find Kinetic has too many pieces. There's too many seams, there's too many pieces. You know, you could do it with less pieces and still get the same look. But overall, I am happy with this kit. It looks great. My wife, out of all these kits, I mean, I keep her up to date. I show her the model. She watches what I do. She likes it. She enjoys watching these get built. This, she's admitted, is her favorite from the past couple of years. Of all the ones I've built in the past few years, she likes this one the best, and I have to agree. It looks great. I don't know what it is about this, whether it's the kit itself, whether it's the way the black wash went down, whether it's the decals being so nice. Again, this is straight out of the box. This is 100% out of the box. Kit plastic, kit decals. I shouldn't say that. There is a resin ejection seat in there. I did use an aftermarket resin ejection seat. Other than that, this is out of the box, and it looks amazing. So I don't know how else to say it. This thing is a joy to build. It's going to look so good on the shelf beside my F18. I love this thing. Yeah, it looks great. I love it. I highly recommend this for anybody who does want an F5. The only thing I wish I had done, but I didn't, I kind of didn't get around to it was weathering the steps. But you know what? Maybe they got a brand new set of steps that they put on it. So it you know, it is what it is. But no, it looks great. I love this thing. Highly recommend this kit to anybody who wants to build it. It's not terribly hard. It just takes a little bit of time to get all the pieces in the right place. So I'm gonna wrap it up here. We'll finish off this video with a quick montage of some photos I took of this thing, get a view of it from some different angles, and then I'll put this thing on the shelf and it will be done. And then we'll move on to whatever's next on my desk. So thank you all for watching. We'll see y'all next time.